Hey folks, welcome back. Today we are disking and planting with our 1953 Ford Jubilee, affectionately referred to as Lucy. Now, a couple things about disking with a tractor. Here we have a fairly heavy duty 6-foot disc. We don't have rear remotes on this tractor, so you have up and down with your hydraulics, but the hydraulics going down doesn't really actually push anything down, it just takes the weight off of it. This tractor has a draft lever, which you can see right here. Now, when it's not running or when the clutch is in and you flip it, what that does is disengages the pump that holds it at the right level. Meaning if you're brush hogging and you don't want the thing sitting on the ground, you want it up ever so slightly, you do not want to flip that lever. But if you're plowing or disking or dragging and you want all the weight on your implement, then you want to flip that draft lever and engage it in draft mode. The other thing you may or may not notice is if your front end is high or your back end is high or low or whatever, when you're doing it, you want to adjust your top link right here. So when you push that out, that will lift the front end up and push the back end down. And of course, the inverse does the opposite. Now, because this does not have downward hydraulics, I don't have anything pushing it into the soil, it is also possible that this will kind of skip along your ground depending on the type of ground you have. How hard is it? When was the last time it rained, etc., etc. So we're going to add some extra weight. We're going to take this old creosote soaked telephone pole and we're going to just rest it across the top. And I've done this before. I know the tractor can handle it, and that helps me get down in a little deeper. You can kind of see here the depth that we're going for. Now, this is not as bad as tilling for my anti-till folks out there. This really just gets down an inch or two, and we're just trying to break up the topsoil just a little bit so we can throw some seeds in. What are we planting? I'm so glad you asked. We are planting a beardless winter wheat. What this does for us is replaces our warm season grasses, which are just about to quit. September hit, and it hit hard with cooler temperatures, less rain, things like that. The winter wheat will come up hard in September, October, into about the middle of November. And what we'll be able to do is put our cows and sheep on that field for a month or so, give or take. It's about 3 acres. Then we'll take it off and we'll put them in our winter field where we feed them hay. And early March, that field will start to come up long before the warm grasses do, and we'll allow them to graze it again. It costs us about $100 to do this. So we've discovered in terms of buying feed and extra hay and things like that, this is really worth the investment. Each bag around here of winter wheat is about 25 to 26 bucks. I think after taxes, I paid $86 for 3 bags, which is what I need for about 3 acres. So we get to do my favorite thing, tractor work. All right, a couple things I want to show you guys. I had this lever in the wrong place when I showed it to you before. It is the right lever for draft and not draft, but up is the position you would want it in if you were brush hogging or needed the control of the 3-point. Down is draft, and that's an easy way to remember is when you want to go down into the ground with the things you're using, flip your lever down. When you want to maintain up, go up. We have our beardless wheat. This is 150 pounds worth, about 80 to 86 bucks with taxes in our area on the back of our seeder. I want you to see how little disking actually churns up the ground. You can see all we've really done is change the surface just a little bit. And then in the areas that have grass, like over here, we haven't even really cut through the grass. It's just created a little bit of contact for the seeds. The wheat needs to contact the dirt in order to sprout. Ever so slightly buried would be great. So we run through here, then we'll seed, and then we will disc it again. But as you can see, the field still looks great. And our hope is not to get the absolute greatest yield out of this field. We're trying to regeneratively farm and reduce our feed costs. So if I get half of what this field could produce under optimum conditions, probably even a third, I will have still saved money. My animals will have a place to graze, and I won't have to bring in as much inputs. I don't know exactly the setting for this seeder, and that's okay. I'm gonna guess, make a couple laps, see how much I have left, and then I'll adjust it as needed. A seed drill probably wouldn't work that well out here because we had trees out here before. We got most of the stumps, but not everything, and I would hate to hit something and damage that, so we're gonna go with surface stuff. Well, the old girl did a great job. Something to keep in mind when you're running through fields and such, especially bush hogging. Put a screen or something in front of this radiator, and that will keep you from getting clogged up and overheated. But every now and then, if you're running through dry stuff, make sure you check that front so that you don't clog up your airflow and overheat it. Now, we have a bit of a problem. As I'm sure you saw in the hyperlapse, the dust is incredible right now. The field is very, very dry. We're not technically in drought conditions right now. However, we haven't had rain, probably in close to a month. And this field, as you can see, is very dry. Very, very dry. So this is going to be a problem. Temperature conditions right now are perfect. The highs are in the mid 70s, lows are barely getting into the upper 50s. That is winter wheat heaven. But no water means no germination. No germination means no growth, which means I might have wasted 3 days and about $100 in seeds and fuel. But we don't know until we try, right? What's that passage in James that talks about waiting for the early rains and the late rains? We need some late rain. So if you're the praying type, do me a favor and pray it rains here in the next couple weeks. Because otherwise, this is for naught. My name is Brian. This is Flannel Farms. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Keep growing as you grow, and we'll see you next time.